At the time, Louis was undefeated, having knocked out 19 of his 23 opponents. He had a slow, methodical approach, inching forward and leaning back and inside in a slight crouch. This loaded up his terrifying right hand. He set up these atomic bombs by slipping jabs, which he tended to draw out with a jab of his own. It was a simple tactic, but the results spoke for themselves. Schmeling was an older ex-champion looking to climb back up the ranks, and at the time, no one gave him much of a chance. After all, Louis had knocked out his last 10 opponents. But Schmeling had done his homework on Louis's style, having actually traveled to America just to watch Louis fight. What's more, he felt he had caught a weakness in Louis's form. Schmeling had noticed that Louis pawed with his jab. This was usually a boon for Louis, as it let him knock his opponent's guard out of the way as he drew their jab. But Schmeling was determined not to let that happen. Instead, he planned to exploit the fact that Louis dropped his jab after throwing it. On the night of the fight, when Louis tried to draw a jab, Schmeling did jab back, but he kept his weight back and moved offline, well out of Louis's reach, leaving him no opportunity to counter with his devastating right. Schmeling was fine with presenting a weak jab to Louis. The punch he was looking to make a difference with was his own right. And he did just that in the fourth. Schmeling's plan worked perfectly. He caught Louis with the cross as he dropped his jab, exploiting the brief opening in his guard, and then followed up to knock the brown bomber to the canvas. Louis survived the round and went back to what he had always known. He found some success at close range, but Schmeling was able to escape quickly back to the center of the ring, keeping Louis away by stiff-arming his lead shoulder. And in the 12th, Schmeling again found a home for his right. And this time, Louis could not make the count. It's a telling reminder that in the fight game, only one small weakness can prove the downfall of an otherwise well-developed fighter. Ironically, rather than Schmeling, it was Louis who would go on to take the heavyweight championship, which led the Brown Bomber to declare that he would not consider himself the true champion until he had defeated Schmeling. The night of the fight, Louis did show an adjustment with his jab, but that honestly made little difference. The main adjustment that Louis made was to give up on his cautious, methodical nature and go right for the kill. Louis had given Schmeling trouble in their first bout each time he got into close range, but all the same, he'd seemed hesitant to make use of that distance. This time, Louis aggressively closed the distance immediately, bulled through Schmeling's attempt at a frame, and then began systematically tearing apart Schmeling's defenses. Having the confidence to charge in haphazardly is a solution you might see in a Rocky movie, but this one time, it worked.